1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Live recording, going live. Yes. I think we're good. Let me just fix my microphone here. Well, okay. Yeah. Live on YouTube's. So, here we go. Alright, let's do this. We're live on the YouTubes on this momentous of all occasions where we can say goodbye to one Boris the Pfeffel Johnson. Well, kind of. We can't really, but we'll get to that, won't we? We know what the problem is. So, there's a few people on the YouTube. Hey guys, girls, whoever's there, appreciate you joining me. Please, if you have anything to say, just get it out there. I'll read your quotes, your comments, your opinions. Happy to have a bit of a chat tonight. Happy to have a bit of a chat every night. Sorry for my tardiness. I'm a few minutes late, which is normal, but I went down a Nadine Dorris rabbit hole. Not nice. And I can recommend that you don't do it. Remember this, I only do it so that you don't have to. So that's why we're here. I suffer these slings and arrows for you, my friends. Hey, David Campbell on the Twitter, on the YouTube. Hey, David. Hope you are well. Boom. Here we go. So anyone that's going to listen to this on the podcast during the week, we'll probably put it up tonight. Yeah, if you ever fancy coming over live to one of these things, there's a little chat window in the YouTube video, and we talk to each other. So we can, the Rev's here. Who else is here? Rev's here. Good evening, brother. The useless bag of custard hasn't left number 10 yet. Holy shit, isn't that the truth? Smee30 says, Jesus, she's a melt. And Demo says, go Nads, go Mad Nad, Nadine Dorris for PM, baby. David Campbell's got COVID. Oh Jesus, fucking hell, sorry man. There's so much of it about at the minute. Yeah, it's on its way back, I believe. Hopefully, it's not as dangerous as it was when it first started with us. I hope. But listen, get well, brother. Hope you get well. Hope you're feeling better soon. And I'm glad you're here. Tony Gervin's here. You missed mine. I missed your what? What did I miss? Did I? It's wild. So there you go. Yeah, I've heard it's quite bad. I know a fella that was in bed for 10 days. Couldn't get her 10 days. Jesus. Hey Tones, T-Man. What have I missed? What did I miss? So we're going to do this. We know what's happened. That's right. Rev has it. You have it as well. Rev Duffer has it as well. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. Sorry to hear that, guys. But I'm glad you're here with me tonight. Hopefully, I can make you cheer you up a wee bit. We're going to have a bit of a laugh. We all know what the crack is. There's no point. You know, if you want some serious, proper commentary, you can find it. We're just going to have some shits and giggles. I've got some good videos for you. Quite funny. So, yeah. Demo, he had the old COVID last week too. Tested negative on day 9, but wasn't too bad with it. Oh, lucky you. Yeah, I've heard this one hits a bit harder than that, and it has been recently. But sure, I'm sure I'll find out soon enough. But aye. So let's do this. As we know, the Earl Boris, the fucking sausage skin rolled in Labrador hair, has resigned. Oh, poor Boris. So let me just get an article up here. No. Yes. No. Well, no, we're going to start as we mean to continue. Who is Boris Johnson? So here's a video. It's a bit long, but sure, we can stick with it anyway. Check this out. Tell me what you think.
The life and lies of Boris Johnson, from the day he was born to the day he became Prime Minister. June 1964. Alexander Boris de Pfeffel Johnson is born in New York.
And by the way,
his earliest record.
This is only up until he was Prime Minister. We're going to take you up to Prime Minister, and then we're going to break it down what he did when he became Prime Minister.
Ambition is to become world king.
Look at the fucking face on
1982.
that.
In a letter to Johnson's father, an Eton schoolteacher writes of the 17-year-old Boris Johnson.
He sometimes seems affronted when criticised for what amounts to a gross failure of responsibility, and surprised at the same time that he was not appointed captain of the school for the next half. I think he honestly believes that it is churlish of us not to regard him as an exception, one who should be free of the network of obligation that binds everyone else.
1983, Johnson becomes a leading member of Oxford University's male-only Bullingdon Club. During his tenure, the club's members indulge in sexist taunting, vandalism, restaurant trashing, bullying and ritual humiliation of the poor. One recruit...
A Bullingdon Club? Sure, how many... Well, Boris, David Cameron was in that too, right? David Cameron was in the Bullingdon Club, just this group of elite toughs. And I have a little article about that. I'll read that out to you just after this. Aye, that's a good one. We'll read it out after that. And it kind of comes... I was at a festival. I was playing a gig at a festival. And we got talking randomly just about the Tories. And my thing was, how did they become like this? What happens? And I can't remember who it was I was talking to. It'll come to me. But they just said, it's school. They're taught this. They're raised this way. And I had that in my mind, and I stumbled across this. It was a Twitter thread, really, and I'll read it out to you after this. It's very interesting. It sort of explains the mentality that goes into creating these guys. So, anyway, onwards with the video.
The club will later describe it during Johnson's time, saying Bullingdon members
found it amusing if people were intimidated or frightened by their behaviour. I remember them walking down a street in Oxford in their tails, chanting "Buller, Buller," and smashing bottles along the way just to cow people. Boris was one of the big beasts of the club. He was up for anything. They treated certain types of people with absolute disdain and referred to them as plebs.
1984. Sixth former Damien Furness visits Johnson's Oxford College for his entrance interview. Many years later, he will relate what happened.
I was staying the night and had an evening to kill in the college bar. Johnson was propping it up with his coterie of acolytes, whose only apparent role in life was to laugh at his jokes. In the course of my pint, I felt obliged to finish, he mocked my speech impediment, my accent, my school, my dress sense, my haircut, my background, my father's work as a farm worker and garage proprietor, and my prospects in the scholarship interview I was there for. His only motivation was to amuse his posh boy mates.
1987. At the age of 23, Johnson marries the daughter of a millionaire art historian. Fresh out of university and aided by family connections, he lands a traineeship at the Times newspaper. 1988. Johnson is sacked as a trainee at the Times for making up a quote on his first front-page story. 1990. Johnson conspires with his Bullingdon Club friend Darius Guppy to have a fellow journalist assaulted. The two discuss in detail how badly assaulted the man will be, including cracked ribs and black eyes, before Johnson agrees to supply the journalist's address for the attack to be carried out.
Boris, have you got this number?
How badly are you going to hurt this guy?
Okay, let me explain this. You will not be put into intensive care or anything like that.
Okay, Derry, I said I'll do it. Don't worry.
The conspiracy goes nowhere, and no attack happens. 1991. According to a friend of Johnson's wife, an incident occurs in which Johnson displays his frightening temper, after which his wife turns up at the friend's flat in Brussels looking shocked, scared and on the brink of tears. The marriage soon deteriorates as Johnson begins an affair with a barrister. 1993. Johnson gets his barrister girlfriend pregnant and is soon divorced for the first time. 1994. He is now a columnist for The Telegraph and The Spectator magazine. His columns include racially charged invectives such as slamming Nelson Mandela for the, quote, tyranny of black majority rule in post-apartheid South Africa, and describing Chinese workers as, quote, puffing coolies. 1995. He describes the children of single mothers as, quote, ill-raised, ignorant, aggressive and illegitimate, saying it is, quote, outrageous that married couples should pay for the single mother's desire to procreate independently of men. In the same piece, he dismisses working class men as, quote, likely to be drunk, criminal, aimless, feckless and hopeless. 1998. Delighting in the resignation of gay Cabinet Minister Peter Mandelson for accepting an undisclosed loan from a friend, Johnson describes the gay community as, quote, tank-topped bumboys. 1999. Johnson is made editor of The Spectator magazine, promising owner Conrad Black he will not stand to be an MP. 2000. Johnson begins a relationship with one of his employees. He promises her that he will leave his wife to marry her. He does not leave his wife. 2001. Breaking his promise to the owner of The Spectator, Johnson stands to be an MP. He now promises voters in Henley that if they vote for him, he will step down as editor of The Spectator. That June, he becomes MP for Henley. He does not step down as editor of The Spectator. In a book he writes during the election campaign, Johnson compares equal marriage to a union between 3 men and a dog. 2002. Writing in The Spectator, Johnson defends British colonialism in Africa, saying, the problem is not that we were once in charge, but that we are not in charge anymore. Left to their own devices, the natives would rely on nothing but the instant carbohydrate gratification of the plantain. Meanwhile, in The Telegraph, he describes black Africans as, quote, flag-waving pickaninnies with watermelon smiles. 2003. Johnson is made vice chair of the Conservative Party and shadow arts minister. 2004. Rumours circulate that Johnson has got one of his employees pregnant, resulting in her having an abortion. Johnson slams the suggestion as, quote, complete balderdash and an inverted pyramid of piffle, and assures Conservative Party leader Michael Howard that the claim is untrue. In reality, the rumours are entirely true. Johnson is sacked from his position as Tory Vice Chair and Shadow Minister for lying to the party leader. 2005. Johnson steps down as editor of The Spectator. Advising his successor on how to deal with a senior female colleague, he says, just pat her on the bottom and send her on her way. 2008. Johnson becomes Mayor of London. 2009. He fathers a child with an unpaid advisor to City Hall. 2013, the Court of Appeal throws out an injunction that has until now prevented Johnson being named as the father of the child. 3 judges rule that the public has a right to know about Johnson's, quote, reckless behaviour. By now, Johnson is having an affair with an American technology entrepreneur. Her company will receive £26,000 of public money while Johnson is mayor. She will later receive a £100,000 government grant intended for UK operating businesses, even after relocating to California the previous year. 2014. Johnson denies at least 17 times that he will stand as an MP while still in post as Mayor of London. 2015. Johnson stands as an MP while still in post as Mayor of London. 2016. Hedging his bets, Johnson drafts 2 Brexit articles, one pro-Leave and the other pro-Remain. In his pro-Remain article, Johnson says the UK should remain, quote, intimately engaged in the EU, and that Brexit could cause an economic shock, the diminishing of Britain on the world stage, and the breakup of the Union. 2 days later, Johnson announces he will be campaigning for Vote Leave. On June 23rd, Britain votes to leave the EU. Prime Minister David Cameron resigns. Johnson is the leading figure to replace him, but his leadership campaign soon implodes when his own campaign manager, Michael Gove, says that Johnson is, quote, not capable of leading the country. Instead, Cameron is succeeded by Theresa May. She makes Johnson Foreign Secretary. 2017, Johnson fails to impress in the role, making a series of dangerous gaffes. Most notably, he significantly undermines the legal case of Nazanin Zaghari Ratcliffe, a British Iranian held in Iran on charges of espionage.
Who has only recently been freed from jail because of that fucking halfwit.
It will be a further 5 years before she is finally released. 2018, Johnson resigns as Foreign Secretary and returns to his £250,000 a year job as a columnist for the Daily Telegraph. He's soon using his column to label women who wear burqas as, quote, letterboxes. His brother Leo, who's married to a Muslim, slams Johnson for his, quote, bigotry. In the week following his outburst, Islamophobic incidents increase across the UK by almost 400%. Almost half of all reported in-person abuse directly references Boris Johnson or the language he used. Johnson is now having an affair with Carrie Symonds, a former communications director for the Conservative Party. Johnson and his wife will soon separate. 2019, police are called to Symonds' South London flat after reports of a serious altercation. Neighbours report hearing a woman screaming, followed by slamming and banging. Symonds is reportedly heard screaming at Johnson to, quote, get off me and get out of my flat. Symonds will soon be expecting a baby. It is the 5th time as a married man that Johnson has made another woman, who isn't his wife, pregnant. On the 19th of July, following an internal Conservative Party coup against Theresa May, Johnson fulfills his lifetime ambition and becomes Prime Minister of the United Kingdom. Everything in this film was known before the Tory party made him Prime Minister. His tenure has been an administrative and a moral failure. The question now is, what will Conservative MPs do about it?
Wow. 5 times that man has got other women pregnant and left his current partner and wife. Fucking unbelievable. And that they have the audacity to moralise with anyone is staggering. So whenever you see the like of that, you must ask yourself the question, because I do, how did they become like this? What happens? You know, it's incredulous. It's incredulous that I'm sure there are people that are born and they're just unpleasant or nasty. But here's one. I found this Twitter thread. I'll throw it up, see if we can get it sized out for you. Where is it? There. Let me just see it. I'm going to have to do this on the fly, so bear with me, please. See if I can make this a little bit more presentable. Yep, nearly there. So I found this Twitter thread, and need to make it a bit bigger is what I need to do. And it explains it all. And as I was talking to that, it was a sound engineer at the time. And as I was talking to that guy, he was explaining the public school system. And he said that the words he used was fascinating to me. He said they have the empathy beaten out of them. Right? Now think about that. They have the empathy beaten out of them. Right? So then, completely randomly, I stumbled across this. So, dear listener, on the podcast, anyone on the YouTube can obviously read this as I'll read it out, and you can follow if you prefer. Smee30 on the YouTube says, it comes from having everything handed to them on a plate. It's the ultimate life privilege. They just think they can get away with anything. Well, they don't just think it, they do it. They get away with it. So have a listen to this. Tell me what you think. So this is from someone called Ain't Misbehaving. I don't know who that is. And it's sort of a quick, well, there's a fair bit to it, but I'll blast through it. It's a Twitter thread that they put up. A lot of people seem to be really struggling to grasp exactly what the Tories have become. It is no mystery to me. I've seen them up close at work and play. And I think you guys need to understand what we're dealing with. First, a bit of context. England, and I do mean England, still operates not just on class, but on feudal lines. Now, feudal is the system before capitalism. We replaced feudalism with capitalism, right? You know, lord, reeve, bailiff, yeomanry, peasant, serfs. We don't see it any more than fish see water. It is the sea we live in. The reason I see it is because my parents weren't fish. They were from elsewhere. I, however, was born here and had to learn the currents myself. Life's been good to me on several levels. I was lucky. I was born to parents who could pay for private school. Bear with me, they say. English private schooling is where the currents become visible. The egalitarian post-war dream, that aberration from the will of the Lords, provided free schooling even to the humblest offspring of mere serfs. But for those above, more suitable education is offered. While private schools offer better education, smaller class sizes, buildings don't leak, best teachers, that's not actually the key to decoding the current. Make sure I'm not doing this too fast. Yeah. It's the discipline, the trauma, the bullying, the ritual, the mandatory entry in the religion box. Because to put it bluntly, if you're going to fit into your tribe, you must first go through initiation. If you're a lord or a reeve, i.e. Johnson or similar, your parents will likely be emotional cripples who've been through the same initiation. It is brutal. You're 6. Your parents, who are distant, reserved, never really warm or loving. Reserved, never really. Sorry, read that again. You're 6. Your parents, who are distant, reserved, never really warm or loving. Sorry, dump you in itchy, unfamiliar clothes. I am in an imposing stone cathedral of learning and hand you over to Mr. Hard Thrasher and Mr. Caning. Dorms or bestial arenas of survival and loneliness. Fuck me. Brutal. Every few months you go home where your parents tut and puff when you bother them with questions. There's always enough money and you want for nothing. But love is absolutely absent and never spoken of. Your parents tell you they want to be proud of you, not that they love you. Think Lord of the Flies, but with regular breaks just before the murders begin. Running water and tons of cash. Also key, they never meet anyone outside their social class, and that's a big part of it, right? They might meet the son of an Indian steel magnate or Russian oligarch. But while they're foreign and hence a bit odd, they speak with the same accent and are also clearly loaded. They never need financial help. I would just about qualify as yeomanry or merchant in these guys' worldview. I went to a minor public school, one that turned out their estate managers, perhaps small businessmen, sometimes a doctor. I rarely saw anyone outside my social class either. Then at 18, there was the great mixing. I did my first temp jobs. I met my first state school colleagues, also grammar school. My mind was blown. Is this how everyone else lived? Why were they sometimes hungry? Why did these people have more month than money? And that's a key thing, right? I remember when I was in Germany, and a German friend of mine was, we were on the German border with Switzerland, and he said, or we were playing a gig, we were going into Switzerland, and he said, I don't like the Swiss. I don't know what we got talking about. I don't like the Swiss because they've got they don't understand. And I said, well, why is that? He says, they don't understand poverty. Switzerland's a very rich country, and there's like you get like a it's not a UBI, but the government, you get everybody's fucking loaded basically. And he said, I said, what do you mean? Well, how does that manifest? He says, well, if you're with a Swiss person and you say, I can't do that thing because I haven't got any money, they say, well, just go to the bank and get some money. They don't understand that some people literally haven't got any money. And that's kind of what this person is describing here. So, back to the thread. And this is critical. The lords, now resplendent in their adult plumage, never meet peasants. They've got summer jobs in their dad's banks or vineyards, or simply went on the piss in Monaco, Val d'Isere, or Puerto Banús. I don't know what that is. If they were unlucky, they perhaps meet a few like me. One of my friends, son of a relatively successful small businessman, got into Oxford, and there I met Lords for the first time. One guy sticks in my memory. He went on to SPAD for Cameron, and we met in a pub. He was studying PPE. That's that infamous course that they all do. They all do the same fucking class. And my friend introduced me. What is it called? Politics. PPE is... I don't know what that is. I can't remember. It's politics something and something else. So he looked at me exactly as a cat would. Once he realised he couldn't fuck, not my style, thanks, or eat me, and he didn't need to fight me, we exchanged a few words. This 21-year-old buck had a Ferrari, an old one, but it made getting women for sex easier. I was into my cars, but in an oil underneath the nails, keep the thing going so you can get to work kind of way. I had an old Sirocco. We made car small talk, but as soon as he clocked my accent and realised I hadn't brought available women with me, his interest visibly collapsed. Now, to be fair, you don't have to fucking reach into the upper classes to get a response like that, but nonetheless, it wasn't rudeness. It's that I wasn't a real person like him, so he wasn't offending me. My friend explained he had seen this lord at another party, ordering the opening of a gross of champagne. That's a dozen bottles, 144 bottles, a couple of grand, just for fun. Having survived minor public school, I wasn't offended. I was a bit shaken, but my training kicked in and I barely raised an eyebrow. My friends shared that this lord didn't consider himself racist. He'd do anyone. After all, they're all pink on the inside. Several years later, I went to RMAS Sandhurst, you ignorant civvies. And while it's an equal opportunities employer now, although gays had just been allowed in, some regiments wouldn't allow just anyone in. We had a ginger scouser, for fuck's sake. The cavalry wouldn't even make eye contact with me. Their entry question for officers, and get this, with whom does your mother hunt? Isn't that? Their entry question for officers is, with whom does your mother hunt? And this guy's not talking 100 years ago. My mother doesn't ride, but I met literal but not British royalty, and it was instructive. The army excels in forging tight teams through creating adversity, and it reveals character. The royal in our platoon did the barest minimum. Had his car, a Ferrari, flown in on diplomatic plates. Cops let him go 180 mile per hour up the M4 because diplomatic incident surge. Saturday nights he'd head into London, rent a pricey woman, take her back to RMAS, bang her, and dump her outside Sunday morning with cash. Royalty in it. One yeoman grade guy like me got caught with his long-term girlfriend in the lines once and was lucky to stay. The officers and sergeants knew exactly what side their bread was buttered, argue with their betters, and have a lord finish their fragile, hard-won career. Nah. On you go, your highness. I'll get to the point, and we're nearly done. The lords are broken, dysfunctional, unloved boys that have been turned into absolutely immoral, predatory men. They are incredibly dangerous and are bound by no particular laws or morals. Does this remind you of anyone? David Campbell jumped in here on the YouTube. The PPE is politics, philosophy and economics. Thank you, David. Appreciate that, brother. The lords are broken, dysfunctional, unloved boys that have been turned into absolutely immoral, predatory men, like prime ministers who leave 5 pregnant or mothered wives and partners. They are incredibly dangerous and are bound by no particular laws or morals. Breaking international law, perhaps. Never mind the personal ones. The top table in Johnson's cabinet. Now, wait to hear this. The top table in Johnson's cabinet, the top faces and backroom facilitators in Brexit, the editors that supported them, the backers that believe, truly believe, you're not actually a person, are all lords. The correct reaction to this should be fear and revulsion. Now, this is someone who has lived with these people. They are absolutely your enemies. They will laugh and lie to your face and say they are your friends while picking your pocket, fucking your wife with or without her consent, and keying your car. And there is a wholly immoral layer of ambitious, forelock-tugging twats from my own class that will go along with it, purely for the crumbs from the Lord's table. The reeves and bailiffs, they are cunts. One British guy in my platoon kissed arse with the royal. It was gross. These lords cannot conceive of a world where they are not naturally in charge. Next, PMQs. Play Spot the Lord. There was one tiny group of Tory lords that understood being a thunder cunt was dangerous and wanted to keep the social contract. King Twat fired them. The rest of the 2019 intake, and therefore a good slice of the cabinet, is made up of, well, sellouts. Nearest historical parallel to the 2019 Tory MP intake, that was whenever they got their massive majority, right? When Boris Johnson, this famous 80-seat majority that they now sit on, but is shrinking as by-elections go by. The nearest parallel I can find is Galtia. I don't know what that is, but let's find out. Obsequious, sycophantic cretins whose only talent is unconditional support. The Gaultiers enriched themselves massively at the taxpayers' expense when they aped their lords' depravities. They were perverts and thieves, and when the end came, they fled like rats. Not one was competent. Looks like I've broken Twitter, so I may have to read link threads. So this goes on. There's another there's another 10, 15, 20 messages on this. You can see it there, guys, on the those of you that are on the YouTube. So yeah, so that's what you're dealing with. That's what we're dealing with. So now, after doing my study for this, you know, you get a bit despondent. So I needed to cheer myself up. So I had a bit of a Jonathan Pye moment. Check it out.
So he's gone. He's fucked off then. He's resigned. Okay, so he's resigned, but he hasn't fucked off. Okay. I mean, what do we have to do? Wait for another few months whilst he takes the wallpaper down? I'm loving this. What an exit. The Prime Minister forgot that his whip was a sexual predator. No answer to that one. No answer, no humility, no meaningful apology. For days, just more Dickensian twaddle and a little reshuffle. Not so much reshuffling deck chairs on the Titanic, more reshuffling cat shit on a litter tray. And the manner of his departure should tell you everything you need to know. No dignity, just desperation and delusion and a despotic disposal to cling to power, no matter the harm to our country. A Tory party facing the inevitable truth that they have been complicit in enabling one of the most dangerously incompetent and untrustworthy, selfish individuals ever to have occupied number 10 for as long as they have. And what's beautiful is it was the lying that got him in the end.
Yep.
He leaves in disgrace, as well he should, having exposed himself once and for all for what we always knew him to be. Not a statesman, but a sad little liar. A Shakespearean tragedy written by monkeys on typewriters. A Prime Minister who is as adept at lying at the dispatch box as he is to his string of mistresses. Every marriage Boris has had has ended when he fucked someone else and got them pregnant. That's who he is. Lies on top of lies on top of lies. He lies and gets people to lie on his behalf, and then lies about the lying. And when he runs out of lies, he can always rely on the incompetence card. I forgot, I can't remember. member. I don't understand what the word party means. My willy just ended up inside my secretary. Oh, I forgot that he's a renowned sex pest. Essentially, a man who would rather pretend to be stupid than admit his mistakes, which of course makes him a coward. A desperate...
Don't you find that after hearing that Twitter thread that I just read out, when the guy explains who these people are and where they come from and how they get to be, don't you find that when you're hearing Jonathan Pye here, you know, this is obviously satire, but the best satire nails it. It hits nails on heads. Don't you find that you're going, oh, because I'm going, he's a liar, but that was explained why he's a liar. He's a fucking bounder. He's a misogynist. But we know why, you know, and I've no reason to doubt the author of that thread. They seem to, well, to be honest with you, I need some sort of explanation. I need something to explain who these people are, and then whenever you understand, whenever you know who these people are, whenever you're aware of these people, you wonder how they get into position of power, because they're a small number. There's not many of them, and they're elevated and kept there by sycophants and ass kissers who are happy to have some crumbs from their table, as the author of the Twitter thread put it. So when I'm hearing Jonathan Pye ranting here, I'm referencing what the author of that Twitter thread said all the time. It's just bouncing around my head right now. I can't. You know, that's the way I'm approaching this stuff. So let's do this, and of course we'll get to us here in the north of Ireland and on the island in general. We'll get to what this means for us, or where we're going with this, or the current dialogue. We'll get there. We'll get back to the video. Let's check this out.
Talentless flag shagger who is so blatant in his dishonesty that when accused of lying to Parliament, he simply tries to change the rules to make it okay to lie to Parliament. Who, when his own ethics advisors resign in disgust at his complete lack of ethics, scraps the role of ethics advisor altogether, which proves his complete lack of ethics. But the devastating cries over the last few days from the Tory party of enough is enough and one step too far are coming from the same people who have sat and watched him take a flamethrower to their party and our constitution for 3 fucking years. Fuck up after fuck up, lie after lie. And they were thinking what? Oh, he'll get better in a minute. All of them talking about trust and integrity. If you cared so much about trust and integrity, then why the fuck did you put Boris Johnson in number 10 in the first place? All of the reasons they're getting rid of him now, lack of leadership, lack of morals, lack of integrity, lack of truth, all these traits have been in plain sight for years. His CV reads like a demon's resume. These noble cabinet ministers all falling on their swords. These are the fuckers that enabled Boris to be there in the first place. And just look at what he's achieved. Trust in politics at a lower ebb than that time President Trump told Americans to drink bleach. A government with a complete absence of ethics, morals, direction or ideas, a ministerial code in the bin, an oven-ready Brexit deal that even Boris admits is unworkable, a COVID response that has been found to be criminally negligent, a United Kingdom inches away from complete devolution, an economy in tatters, a recession on the way, a health service barely fit for purpose, a country on the verge of a national strike, a man who took an 80-seat majority and just spaffed it up the wall in the name of hubris and ambition, destroying his party's reputation and leaving the UK ungovernable. What a legacy. Chaos. He leaves office the most hated man in his party and his country. And even though he's resigned, he's still fucking there. Just fuck off and we'll take our chances with the next useless posh sliver of bollock skin who gets to shag their mistress in the £50,000 floral wallpaper gin palace and factory of lies that number 10 has become under Boris Johnson. Okay, well,
so there you go. Nailed it. Jonathan Pye always nails it. Demo. You're right, brother. Can't beat a bit of Jonathan Pye. Yeah, and this is, I mean, I actually have, as I said, have taken I've taken a little bit of heart from the Twitter thread that I just read out, because it explains, because that's the way my brain works. I don't know about you, you know. I go, why are these people like this? They're clearly incompetent. They clearly can't. They're clearly incompetent, and they're not able. They're promoted beyond their briefs, but they're taught from birth that they're going to be kings of the world. That the world is theirs to take. You know, and for some reason they managed to convince the English public. Now, I'm not having to go at my working class English brothers and sisters. I really am not. We have our fucking half-wits over here. Oh by God, do we not? As you well know. But the English thing is particularly unique, and people that get on, like Johnson, I guess, wouldn't really, you know, they wouldn't get over the doorstep over here. But that said, we have our own fucking dickheads. You know, we don't need to go to England to find them, which is always my point. We should be governing ourselves, you know, and if we do fucking elevate a dickhead beyond his brief, we can get rid of him. There's nothing we can do about England. Tony Gervin says here on T, I've got those tweets you sent me, because I'm going to do the Dean Doris thing in a minute. The other big story is the Lebedev scandal brewing. Serious questions to answer. Lebedev? What is that? Is that an Israel thing or a Russia thing? Demo says on YouTube, the mind-boggling part of his downfall is that it was someone else's sex scandal that brought him down. Isn't that true? Of all the fucking... It's almost like a Benny Hill sketch. The guy's called Pincher, and he's been done for... Can anybody answer me this? Why has he not been arrested? There was an investigation by the Tory party. They found him guilty. They basically went, yeah, he fucking did it. You know, he has a record of these things. Why has he not been arrested? That's not sexual assault. I don't understand that one. Should he not be answering questions in front of a judge? Tony Gervin says on the YouTube, why now, Demo? Why after everything else? And not to diminish. Great question, Tony. Why now? Why has this taken until now? Of all the things he's done, and as Pi references in the video, the people that are now abandoning him and you got to remember, these people are fucking monsters. The list of runners and riders that are looking to take over from Johnson, Suella Braverman, she went on to the GMB this morning, I think it was, and just started going on about fucking culture war bullshit about trans rights and all this stuff. You know, whenever she's obviously put herself forward to replace Johnson, and she does the usual thing. I'm going to govern for the people, man. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, low taxes, all the usual. And then she started going on about culture war shit. You know, it's just staggering. Rishi Sunak, he's going to run. I thought he was going to run off to California, I'll be honest with you. I'm surprised he stuck around. And all these monsters, they're just, whatever. One piece of shit after another. Back to the YouTube. So the answer to my Lebedev question, so Lebedev is a Russian oligarch and his son who was given a peerage. Yep, okay, I remember now. So this is coming out now, is it, Demo? Or Tony, why after everything else, and not to diminish, the other big story is a Lebedev scandal brewing. Serious questions to answer, right? Okay, cool. Well, hopefully he'll end up in fucking jail, the prick. But you know he won't. You and me, we end up in jail. People like him don't end up in jail. So just to remind us, this is a little quick video of his resignation speech, which notably didn't contain what word? Do we know? What's the for a bonus question, guys, on the YouTube? I'll give you a few seconds here because I'm on a bit of a lag. What word did Boris Johnson not say in his resignation speech? Few seconds. Going to leave it up here. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Anybody know? Sorry. Oh, no. Well, fuck you. Yous are too good. It was that word. but I had a different word in mind. He didn't say sorry either. Yous are so good. But I had a different word. He didn't say resign. I'll put it into the chat. There we go. Resign. Rev got it. There you go. Oh, fuck me. Good man. On point. Tell you what, you don't have long COVID. Jerry got resign as well. Yeah, resign. So yous are all fucking right. Sorry and resign. I had resign in mind. Rev on the ball. Rev on the ball. Duffer had resign and I resign and sorry. So yeah, it was full of self-pity. Here's a little video of the speech. It's not the whole thing. Don't worry, I'm not going to put you through it. It's a wee quick sort of 30-40 second thing. Just
everybody. Good afternoon.
It's from the American media. Don't know which channel.
Thank you. It is clearly now the will of the Parliamentary Conservative Party that there should be a new leader of that party and therefore a new Prime Minister. And I've agreed with Sir Graham Brady, the chairman of our backbench MPs, that the process of choosing that new leader should begin now. And the timetable will be announced next week. And I've today appointed a cabinet to serve, as I will, until a new leader is in place. I know that there will be many people who are relieved. And perhaps quite a few who will also be disappointed. And I want you to know how sad I am to be giving up the best job in the world.
Bless.
But them's the breaks.
Oh. So that's my response to his Twitter, or to his resignation. This should say Twitter. The best job I ever had. I really don't want to leave it. Really. Fucking brilliant. Demo, I didn't get resign or sorry. I blame COVID brain fog. Hope the fact it's temporary. Yeah, I do too. Because you sent me lots of information, so I hope it is. Hope it's short COVID, not long COVID. Well, Rev has it, and he hasn't got the long COVID, so, or his brain seems to be working fine. Thank God for that. So there we go. And as I said, it's the thing for us all of us here in Ireland, that we don't get to make the decisions that our English brothers and sisters get to make, and it's always kind of infuriating that it seems to me that they don't understand it. They don't get, like, I don't know about you guys, but I listened to so many interviews this past number of months, really. We're talking about the Northern Ireland Protocol, and as this protocol bill has been moving through Parliament and what have you, and you get English voices on English media talking about the Northern Ireland Protocol, and the one thing that was always, or not every single time, but a vast majority of the time, the one thing that was missing from the discussion was an Irish accent. And it always sort of bewildered me that. I was talking with Alpner Dignam on Twitter today. We had a back and forward. And he was saying the same thing about an RTE. They don't even have a Northern correspondent, or they didn't have for a very long time. And they were talking about the Northern Ireland Protocol and what's going on with Boris resigning. And they don't ask anyone from here. The RTE establishment are not, I don't think they're just as bad as the British, but they've got their blind spots as well, certainly when it comes to us here in the north. And it's always staggering, and it just blows my fucking mind, and it makes you, it's a part of it's a part of the discussion that we're having at the minute about our own independence and about and why we need it and why it's important. Because I just don't think we can do any worse. I mean, if this is the way English politics is going to go, and let's just clear this up. This is English politics. The Scottish doesn't vote for these people. The Welsh don't vote for these people. We don't vote for these people. It's the English that vote for these people. That's an English problem. Let the English deal with it, and we'll deal with our own thing. So, obviously we have at this point we're talking about our PUL. I'm not sure. Are we okay with that term, PUL? Is that a thing? Protestant Ulster, Protestant Unionist Loyalist, PUL, and then the other side of the thing, because it was always, whatever, you got CNR, Catholic Nationalist Republican. I know I fit in that bracket, and I don't like that. I don't like being referred to like that. The whole PU, I think, well, it's not for me, but either way, it's a catch-all term, I suppose. It sort of fits the bill for now until something better can be wrangled up. But sorry, I stray off my point. The point I'm making is we're now talking about the Northern Ireland Protocol Bill, right? Going to move through Parliament. Is it going to move through Parliament? Is it going to stall completely? Right? And Jeffrey Donaldson was asked his opinion. Well, here's where is the article? Oh no, it's going away. Sorry, give me a second. Where is it? Oh, pish. I forgot to read you another article about Johnson as well. Never mind. The Morning Star. So here, we'll just get to this then. We'll get to this one. Oh, there's the Morning Star. Where the fuck are these all gone? Oh, here. I know what's happened. Where are we? So here we go. Yeah. Although a couple of articles here have gone away. I don't know why. The software is fantastic, but it can be a wee bit... It can be a bit tricky. Let me just say that. So there is... No, I really do. I need that BBC... There's an article here from the BBC. Sorry, give me 1 second and I will just see if I can find it. And it's about the Northern Ireland economy. So we've got up on the screen there, you can see Sir Bumfrey Donaldson, as we shall refer to him as. Class fella. I don't care what anybody says. There it is there. And I don't know why this didn't open for me, but it didn't. So let me see if I can pull it up on screen for you. Window capture. BBC article. Give me 1 second. There we go. There it is. Right. I'll just shrink this down to a more manageable thing. Yep. Stay with me. They're nearly there. There we go. That's better. It's a bit more Protestant looking, isn't it? So there we go. Right. So there's an article from the BBC. And it's basically the economy in Northern Ireland output now at 15-year high. Now this flies in the face of Jeffrey Donaldson upon being asked. Sir Jeffrey Donaldson MP has said the last 24 hours have been unprecedented with regard to Boris Johnson's resignation. But whilst the personnel in Downing Street may change, the Northern Ireland Protocol is still undermining the foundations of devolved government in Stormont and must be replaced. And then, sitting beside it, Northern Ireland's economic output is now at 15-year high. NISRA figures show. Right? So here's the article. The Northern Ireland economy continued to grow in the first quarter of 2022. Official figures from NISRA suggest... Who the fuck is NISRA? I don't know. So, output was up by 0.4% compared to the final quarter of 2021 and by 7.8% compared to the same period a year ago. Northern Ireland economic output is now at a 15-year high and just 0.1% below the record output level recorded in the middle of 2007, which was just at the peak before the 2008 economic crash, right? So that stands to reason. I hope this doesn't mean that we're about to hit a crash, although I do think we might be. From late 2007, the Northern Ireland, but not because of the Northern Ireland Protocol, from late 2007, Northern Ireland experienced a housing crash which caused significant economic damage. The whole world did. Okay. Northern Ireland's performance in the first quarter was weaker than the average UK. The UK average... That was in 2007. Okay. Anyway, we've got the main point there, right? Where is it? So we've got the main point of this. In the first quarter of the year, growth in Northern Ireland was largely driven by the service sector, which had a positive contribution of 0.4 percentage points. Public sector. Now, one of the reasons, obviously, why this is remarkable is because the rest of the UK is in a decline. Now, hopefully not a terminal decline, but a decline nonetheless. And I found this post. Who put this up? This was Joe Brawley posted this. Pressure mounts on sterling as trade figures drop to the worst level on record. Now, this is in the same week, so the rest of the UK is in a decline, as we know. The only sector, the only area within the rest of the UK that's not in decline is the City of London. So, the UK's trade performance fell to its worst levels this year since records began, heaping more pressure on sterling in the international currency markets. The currency account deficit was calculated at 8.3% of gross domestic product in the first quarter of 2022, deterioration from an average of... So anyway, that's all. I'm not going to go through that because it's all numbers and percentages and I don't want to bore myself to death. But that's basically what we're talking about. So that flies in the face of what, as we know, of what the DUP and the other Brexiteer type people that seem to have taken a mad interest in the north of Ireland. What they get away with saying. So I had this. I was talking with Darren Matthews today. By the way, I'll talk about that at the end. And I was talking with him today, and we had this discussion, and we were saying the reason that they get away with it, and it's quite simple. It really isn't complicated. The reason that they're allowed to go onto the mainstream media in the UK, they go on to GB News, and it's all very right wing, and they can say whatever they like anyway, because they're all they're all in agreement with each other, and they don't telling lies is, as we know from Brexit and the like, is not an issue for these people. But the reason that they can go onto the BBC or Sky or whatever and just come out with complete fucking shite and not be challenged, or be challenged in a not very, convincing way, is because the British English broadcaster doesn't care. They're not on top of the brief for the North of Ireland because they don't care. I believe that. So Jeffrey Donaldson go on to Sky News, just talk an absolute load of shit, maybe get a wee sort of half a bit of a challenge and then just carry on, and that's the end of it, and they move on. And it's because they don't care. The English don't care. And that's sort of, it's another one of these things where you go, well, we can do better than this. We can do better than this. I know we can. I know we can do better than this. I think we're a fantastic wee place. I think our country is brilliant. The whole island and this bit of it, particularly. I think it's we've got our issues. Every fucking part of the world has their problems, has their issues. We're in the middle of marching season, which is fucking whatever. It's ridiculous. You know what? I know what. There's so many safety concerns with these seemingly ever growing, getting bigger, massive towers of unbelievable, reaching further and further into the stars. And they just, we've got our issues, but we're a talented bunch of people. And I do believe that. I do believe that we are a talented, funny, dark at times bunch of people that can do far better than any Englishman can do for us or woman. And that's not to be dismissive, demeaning, or too simplistic about the thing. I think we can do better. I could do better than any English politician. And there's far better than me. I'm a half-wit. There's far better than me in this place of ours. And this is why whenever I see the likes of Jeffrey Donaldson parachuting Emma Pengelly into a safe seat in the Lagan Valley, rather than take it himself, face the his electorate on the streets, and spends more time sniffing the curtains in Westminster than he does walking the streets of Lisburn, which is what he should be doing. It just is. You then are left with no. It just leads you down the path of the thought experiment of what are we going to do? What are we going to do for us? And that's where I go with all this stuff. And whenever I see the likes of Donaldson and et al. Lying, I use the word saboteur to describe them, because I think that's what they are. I think they're saboteurs. And obviously I'm not calling for this, but we know what used to happen to saboteurs during war times. We're not at war, so it's good. But to me, they're in that category where they're just fucking telling lies and they're putting us down. And the reason that they're able to do it is because they get away with it because of the reasons that I've just mentioned, right? That's what I see anyway. So on the YouTube here, Smee30, PUL and CUR are too simplistic. They are. You're absolutely right. I get it. I do understand it. It's a convenient catch-all, right? Such as you would say it. It's sort of you can go, but I get it. I understand. I think it's, as you said, you're 100% right. It's too simplistic. It's rather crude, I think. But yeah, absolutely. Demo says here, Wee Jeffrey said in 2019 he was happy to live with 40,000 job losses to get Brexit done, but he can't live with a protocol that's delivering an economy at a 15-year high. Boom. 100% Demo. Final word on that subject, and that's just it. That's exactly it. He can't live with it because it doesn't suit his narrative. They want to see us do badly. They want to see us fail. They don't care that it costs you your job, your house. And then what comes with that? Mental health stresses, divorces, suicides, ill health problems. Being poor, eating good food is an expensive thing, and so you get sick, you get ill, you get diabetes, you get heart attacks, problems, drug addictions, alcoholism, all these things. This is what he's talking about. And whenever they say they're prepared to accept less for us, that's what they're prepared to accept. They're prepared to accept all the periphery that comes with poverty, that comes with failure, that comes with a lack of social mobility, that comes from a lack of social cohesion. They're prepared to accept all of these things. And I'm not. And you're not. But these people are. And the same as the English voter votes for the Johnsons and all the rest of the fucking Tory ghouls and increasingly Labour ones, we have some certain amount of our population that vote for these fucking ghouls. And we can't people in glass houses and all of that, but we're just pointing out flaws across the board. I'm not saying we're any better than anybody else. I'm just saying we can do better than what we've got. Tony Yervin says, makes you think who really doesn't want the North to work. There we go. Absolutely, T. Rev is in agreement, totally. Absolutely. 100%. And this is the thing, again, I was talking with Darren about this today, and there's going to be I had a good conversation with Darren Matthews today about everything. But I did say this today, and you've heard me say this quite a few times. The thing that I don't understand is that there's a clear path to victory for unionism. Make the North work within the UK. Then you control the narrative. Sinn Féin and, the nationalist parties, of which I vote for, will then be left trying to attack, the narrative of the success of Northern Ireland within the UK. They will claim, no, it's not within the UK, it's because of the European Union and the connections to America. Northern Ireland can be this unique pivot point between these various markets because of our unique geographical location, our unique history of which the world is fully in sympathy with, and therefore will give us special privilege and access to these markets. Make that work within the UK. Unionism, and this, this is not my fucking strategy. This is clear. Everyone knows this. Make it work within the UK and claim victory. Go look at what we did. This is because of the UK, because of our special place in the world, and here we are, and we're all fantastic, and everyone's going to be great. There is a clear path to victory, but unionism refuses to accept it. And that is the thing that blows my fucking mind. I genuinely don't get it. It's there for them. It's on a plate. You can even see the Shinners fucking sit. Look at them. This is here for you. You can do this. Look at what's going on. Look at, we can then, let's make the place work, and then we can argue later on. But even now, I mean, the easiest thing to do would be just let them get on with it. You can make, if you were a cold-hearted nationalist, you would say, well, just shut up. Let them make the place fucking fail, and then we'll get our border pulled. And then but they're not doing that. They're trying to make it work. They're trying to get Stormont back up and running to get the place working properly. I was out talking today. I visited the Spade Town Brewery with Darren Matthews. We had a bit of a chat with the guys over there, and they were telling us about the problems that they're having getting licensing for the tap room. They've got this gorgeous tap room. You want to see it? This bar and there's these fantastic mural of the band. Liban, the fairy, mermaid fairy from Irish mythology, huge on the wall, and it's gorgeous, modern, state-of-the-art modern tap room where they make the big things, making the big, whatever they're called, making the beer, and you get all these tasters. It's absolutely fucking amazing, and they can't get the fucking thing open, and it's been down there, it's been functional for over a year, and they're trying to get people in there going, this is modern Ireland, this is the modern world, this is what we're doing. They've got food trucks and beer tasting in a modern, clean, fantastic facility, and they can't get the fucking place working. And it's because fucking dickheads like Jeffrey Johnson and his won't go back to work. So now they're having to put all this stuff through the courts. It's gone to the High Court. So now it's been passed down from the High Court to the Civil Service. So the Civil Service is having to deal with this instead of it going through Stormont. It looks like it's going to happen, but it's going a long way around the houses. That's just one small example, but it's an example of how we can be more modern and more successful and working for ourselves and being us and have these fantastic, inventive people who want to celebrate who we are. And that's what they're doing down there. It's all very Lurgan, and it's funny, the branding that they've got, it's just fucking amazing. It's really, really good. You should check them out, by the way, Spade Town Brewery, if you're into that sort of stuff. And it's staggering to see, but what do you want to do? So let's push on. We'll still have to get to back to the YouTube. David Campbell, what's the Northern Ireland economic 15-year high doing for people evicted from their rental homes with nowhere to go, or for fuel bills, or for the NHS? Can never remember times being as tough here. Well, that's a fair point. I've said that myself. Even during the Troubles, I never saw a food bank in Lurgan. There's fucking 4 of them now, I think. Yeah, absolutely. But that's UK wide. That is UK wide. Unfortunately, sad. Very, very sad. Demo says, as an interviewer, RTE interviewer said to Gavin Robinson in the DUP support for Brexit, you guys are working for the other side. I saw that. Yeah. Yeah, I saw that one myself. So now we're going to get ourselves to. I was going to do this bit on, but I'm going a bit long. We have the Secretary of State. Where the fuck is this gone? Oh, here we go. I've put it in the folder. Oh, that's what it is. Secretary of State. So with this new guy, Shelley Svara, MP, huge privilege to return to the Northern Ireland office. Apparently he used to work in the Northern Ireland office and then he resigned. And I have this, I pulled up his Wikipedia on who he is and all the rest. And I was going to read it out to you. It's too boring. Typical Tory, backpedaling, changing minds, depending on career opportunities, usual bullshit. So I'm not going to bother with him because I don't want to talk about these fuckers anymore. Now we're going to get to the best bit. Nadine Dorris.
The Prime
So here's a letter, right? Joe Lycett wrote this, the comedian. Right, let's get to Joe Lycett's letter. So there's it on screen, and he put it up, and it's all on, a sort of House of Commons, a headed paper, which makes it look official. So, dear Prime Minister, this is obviously from Nadine Dorris to the Prime Minister. It is with deep sadness that I have reached the conclusion that it is not working. I have made an honest efforts to resolve the difficulties, but it has become clear this morning that I am unable to proceed further. I would like to thank you for purchasing the Pop the Top automatic bottle opener for me last week. I was very grateful for this and for many things you have done for me, but I believe you have not purchased the correct bottle opener. I was looking to open a bottle of I Heart Pinot Grigio I got from Tesco last night and discovered the Pop the Top bottle opener is actually only designed to open traditional beer bottles or Coca-Cola or J20 apple and mango. It has been an honour of my life working in your government. I still believe and stand by you, but I would like you to reconsider and maybe purchase the Cuisine Art CW050U electric wine opener, which is £50 in John Lewis and has a 3-year guarantee, guarantee and free delivery, or Lucretia LM250 lever corkscrew, but that is £95 and looks confusing to use. Please replace the Pop the Top automatic bottle opener, which doesn't even work, on the gross bottles, which have the metal clasp. Kind regards, Right Honourable Nadine Dorris, MP. Now, while Boris Johnson is getting resignation letters coming at him from all angles, this is what Nadine Dorris allegedly sent, and it made me laugh. I just genuinely laughed my fucking arse off at that. So we're going to listen. This is just it's too good. So I'm officially Tony Gervin sent me. I am officially launching the Nadine Dorris for PM. Go Nads, demo, go Nads, Tony Gervin, hashtag go Nads. So let's do this. We're gonna see if we can get when you're tweeting this stuff, put the hashtag on. This shit works, and if it gets a bit of, it might get some legs, right? Wouldn't it be so fucking funny if it did, right? So we should try and get this, and so now Tony tagged me in a tweet from Sir Michael Take CBE, so it's obviously a parody, I think. Today I've written to Nadine Dorris urging her to stand as our party leader and continue the legacy of Boris Johnson. Nads is a charming young woman who is principled and caring. With her in charge, we can win the war in Ukraine, level up and keep British fish British. Hashtag go Nads. That is fucking brilliant. I love it. I'm doing this now. I'm in. I want the gonads. Here we go. This is fucking. So, where's this article? there's a great article here. So, right. Let me see if I can. Yeah. Yes. So, oh, it's on the screen. Oh, geez, if it's on the screen and all. Look at that. There's everything's working. So, that's what that is. Right. So I've clipped that on the screen for you, boys, because there's on the side of the article. There's a picture of a young woman in the bikini, and we can't have that. So, if anyone knows, so here's the article. If anyone knows how to cringe out the internet, it's Nadine Dorries. How fucking dare you? She's a fucking magnificent human being. The Secretary of State for Digital, Culture, Media and Sport. By the way, we know that was an office that was invented for her. There was no such office. It was only given her because she's such a Boris Johnson loyalist. So, the Secretary of State for Digital, Culture, Media and Sport has never been far away from the headlines over recent months. She's been very busy during that time. Done everything from arriving on TikTok with a rap about the online safety bill to giving QR crash interviews. So, let's see if we can. I'm going to throw you up one of these QR crash interviews to see what you think. So this is her talking with Kristen Guri-Murty, Channel 4. We have two of these. Let's see.
The Prime Minister tells the truth.
The Mess have revealed that they've got 300 images relating to these parties. Does that worry you?
No, not at all. I think the more information that they have, the better their investigation will be.
Oh, and what about the parties in the flats, or the gatherings in the flats that are being investigated?
I don't know anything of any gatherings, so I can't really comment.
Don't you think it's odd that the Prime Minister wouldn't confirm whether he was at one of the gatherings being investigated by the police?
Well, as I've said numerous times, no one can say anything while an ongoing investigation because it could be prejudiced.
No, I mean, saying whether you were in your flat or not does not prejudice an inquiry.
No, I'm afraid the Prime Minister is bound by the same constraints that we all are. Until the Met investigation is concluded, we can't say anything.
I mean, the truth is you would support him no matter what, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, there are no circumstances under which you would say enough's enough.
Yeah.
Do you want to ask me a serious question?
Well, are there? I mean, what would it take?
Look, I'm not going to, I'm not going to talk about hypothetical conclusions from the future. I'm going to wait for the Met to finish their investigation and then let's talk again.
Nadine Dorries, thank you very much indeed.
Fucking brilliant. She is so good. Right. So, so here in the article, right? Right. When she inadvertently slammed the Tories' COVID preparations. On the afternoon of the 23rd of July 2020, when I was Health Minister, you telephoned me to tell me that we had to handle the pandemic following the example set by the East China, that people testing positive should be removed from their homes and placed into isolation hotels for 2 weeks. In what has become one of the biggest political cell phones in the post-COVID world, Dorries seems to inadvertently slam the Tories' own COVID preparations by calling them wanting and inadequate. So, she claimed Boris Johnson wasn't booed at the Queen's Jubilee when he was. There were far more cheers, but that doesn't make a good headline, does it? Queen's Thanksgiving service, boos and cheers, and there's a video of people literally fucking booing Boris Johnson. We remember that from when he was going into the cathedral. Here's another one with Channel 4.
I would argue that...
Oh, this is about Channel 4. This is the time she was in front of the committee, and she doesn't... She's the Secretary for Culture, allegedly, and she doesn't know, and she's trying to privatise Channel 4. Channel 4 is a private company. It's not publicly owned, so she doesn't know this, and she's arguing. So, what do you...
I would argue that to say
that just because Channel 4 has been established as a public service broadcaster and just because it's in receipt of public money, we should never kind of audit the future of Channel 4, and we should never evaluate how Channel 4 looks in the future and whether or not it's a sustainable and viable model. It's quite right that the government should do that.
But Channel 4 is not like the BBC. It's not in receipt of licence fee money. It makes its money from commercial operations.
And so, although it's
Stop talking. So she doesn't know that Channel 4 is in the public. It's not like the BBC. It's not like the BBC. So that's shocking stuff.
Okay, let's move on.
So where's the? Oh right, yeah. Let me pull the article back up. So I'm not going to. There's a picture. There's a clip there of her. She posted a clip of the Queen. Someone done a little thing of the Queen dancing for the Jubilee, and it's a little animation. But they're playing some music, and I might get a copyright strike. But the music that they play it's really fucking crude. Talking about my pussy and all this sort of stuff. So, so here's one here where she where is it? So yeah, so Gary Neville put this up, and it was around the time that Angela Rayner was getting sexist abuse, right? And there was a bit of an issue. So Boris Johnson put out this, do it up on the screen there. It should be a bit bigger, yeah. As much as I disagree with Angela Rayner on almost every political issue, I respect her as a parliamentarian. Deplore misogyny directed at her anonymously today. That was on right. So Boris Johnson put that out. So Nadine Dorries, she decides to put out a tweet as well in support of Angela Rayner. What does she say? As much as I disagree with Angela Rayner on almost every political issue, I respect her as a parliamentarian and deplore the misogyny directed at her anonymously today. She literally just cut and pasted the same fucking tweet. Literally cut and pasted the same tweet. Now, that there's a particular word that's called being a cunt. That's what, right? Any American people that don't we use the word cunt over here and we apply it correctly. That is a cunt. That is a cunty move. And that's what I want to be the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Because I think that's fucking class. It's just a fucking cunt, and she doesn't give a fuck. Smee 30, how could you not know that? Vicky Pollard's auntie. We're talking on the YouTube here. Demo says, Mad Nads. We'll call her Mad Nads, by the way. Demo says, Nads is now claiming she has boosted rugby league by appearing at a rugby league event and paying tribute to Johnny Wilkinson's drop goal in the Rugby Union World Cup. Yeah, that's right. I've seen that. She doesn't know the difference between rugby league and rugby union. I'm not sure if I could know myself, but you know, I'm not. If I was going to go and make an appearance at an event, I would be fucking sure to find out. But there we go. All right, I got one more video for you, and this is shit. I'll put it up in the notes. I hate. You know, I just realised that I've done. I put Jonathan Pye on, and I didn't credit him under his thing. So I'll do that in the show notes. And it's the same with this guy. We did this one. We showed you one from this guy a few weeks ago. You know, roasting Liz Truss. Oh, she's going to be running for Prime Minister. This is going to be fucking hilarious. This is going to be hilarious. So this is Nadine with this guy whispering in her ear. She's in front of a select committee, okay? So check this out.
Okay, let's move on to other issues.
Have you spoken to the Prime Minister recently?
Yes, I have, Charlie, and he tells me he remains very positive and focused on the job at hand.
Why are you asking me that question?
Because he's under police investigation and everyone who works for him has resigned in the last 24 hours. That's why he's a little bit...
Okay, let's move on to other issues.
Have you spoken to the Prime Minister recently?
Yes, I have, Charlie, and he tells me he remains very positive and focused on the job at hand.
Why are you asking me that question?
Because he's under police investigation and everyone who works for him has resigned in the last 24 hours. That's why he's a little bit curious, Nadine.
I'd like to know.
We've communicated.
We've communicated. That's your answer. We've communicated. Do you really think he's going to be happy with we've communicated?
Spoken to the Prime Minister in the last 24 hours?
Yes, I have, Charlie, and he tells me that he remains very positive and focused on the job at hand.
We have communicated.
Why have you said that again? Why are you talking like you're in court?
What has he communicated to you?
Tell him. Give him an answer. Say that he remains focused on the job at hand.
I'm not going to tell you the extent of my communications with the Prime Minister.
No, God forbid you'd answer a question on a news programme like a responsible adult rather than, say, a petulant, humourless creep with all the personality of a bag of toenails.
I've answered your question. We have communicated. What is your next question?
The next question is, why do you need a massive bookcase for one calculator? And the question after that is, how broken is our political system that a person who is so unqualified for any governmental position and who has the same level of cultural knowledge as a horse with a washing basket on his head can rise to become Cabinet Minister for Culture, Media and Chuffing Sport?
What's his mood?
I'd say his mood was very...
Positive. Say positive. I've already told you to say that twice, you hopeless moth.
I think he's very positive.
Has he changed?
Yes, he has, yeah.
Changed what?
Changed what? Changed his laundry detergent. What do you think, you pink maniac? Yes, he's changed. He's changing for the better. Say that.
His attitude?
Look at her face.
To what?
To something that resembles basic human dignity, Culture Secretary. In a nutshell, is he less of a deeply unpleasant, lying, parasitic worm? That sort of thing.
A different Boris Johnson is emerging. Is he exactly the same in your book?
Right, you've only got a few seconds left. Try and answer this question in a more diplomatic and gracious way, Nadine.
So your question was actually very open-ended and non-specific.
For fuck's sake!
I think anybody who picks up a newspaper or reads a newspaper, receives a television news bulletin.
Tell me, do you...
Okay, let's move on to other issues.
Have you spoken to the Prime Minister
recently? She is absolutely
recently?
fucking brilliant. I love her. I think I'm in love. Tony Gervin, the T-Man says Nadine sent a resignation letter, but ended up taking out a Reader's Digest description. I'd say that's probably fucking true, man. She's unbelievable. So listen, so we're going to go #GoNads. Nadine Dorries for PM. I've just been sent this actually, so it's live footage of Nadine Dorries being dragged out of. Oh, interesting. Let's see what this is. Live footage of Nadine Dorries being dragged out of number 10 Downing Street.
What choice have I got? Stop! You're not killing your buddy! Stop! I'm gonna kill you all! What choice have I got?
I was looking, tears are rolling down my face. So, Nadine, that, as Demo says, as Liz Truss would say, that is a disgrace. It's fucking brilliant. I want to watch the footage of Nadine getting dragged again. Because that's too good. Nadine Dorries getting dragged out of number 10.
What choice have I got? Stop! You're not killing your buddy! Stop! I'm gonna kill you all! What choice have I
got? Sorry, I'm having too much fun. This is fucking brilliant. I can't, that Zach Galifianakis wheezy laugh just makes me piss myself. It's brilliant. It's going to be fun. Sadly, unless the United Kingdom gets its fucking act together and starts electing competent people, it's kind of bit fucked. And the reality is that if the Tories, I don't know, if there was a snap election called tomorrow, would the Tories win? They might. Who's going to vote for fucking Labour at the minute? It's unthinkable. You just couldn't do it. Why would you do it? Why would anyone do it? Beyond belief. So there we go. Let me see. Why is that not working? I don't know. Theme tune isn't working. There we go. Started to work. A wee bit of a lag between when I click audioily. Visually, it's okay. Video's good, but the audio doesn't seem to want to work. But anyway, there we go, guys. Listen, thanks so much. I appreciate you joining me on the YouTubes. I'm going to finish with. I'm going to do one. I have to do it again. One more.
What choice have I got? Stop! You're not killing your friends! Stop! Gonna kill you all! Back off! What choice have I got?
Brilliant. So, we're done. We're going to call it. We're going to call it. This is us. Boys, thanks for joining me. I really appreciate it. Go Nads. Let's do this. Go Nads. Let's get this fucking multi-million. Tony says on YouTube, multi-millionaires should be banned from standing for Parliament. Fucking, yeah. I tell you what, there's a lot to be said for that, man. You're not going to get any argument from me there. David Campbell, have a good one, Andy. You too, brother. Stay well. Smee30, say hello to Mr. Matthews from me. East Belfast at Boo. Good man. Good man. Off to watch the tour highlights. Go easy, brother. Okay, Rev. Demo, great show. Go hashtag Go Nads. Awesome. Well done, guys. Thanks a million. Really appreciate it. Yes, as I was saying, I had Darren Matthews was around today. And we talked all sorts of things. We got into politics, but it was mostly about Darren and his comedy and all that sort of stuff. But we really got into it, and it was good. So I'll be dropping it during the week. Head over to the Patreon, lend your support if you can, if you want to. If you don't, you get it anyway. It's fine. It's all good. But helps keeps the lights on and all that shit. Like, share, subscribe. Hashtag Go Nads. David Campbell. He's off for some paracetamol. T-Man, Tony G, great crack tonight. I enjoyed it. Jerry, cheers, Andy. Alright, boys, listen, good night, thanks a million, and we'll catch you during the week. Bye now.